Hey everyone, Redneck Reloader here. I wanted to share my new reloading setup. I got it all assembled and set up today, and I'm reloading some 9mm, which is kind of nice. I haven't done that in a while because I haven't had any small pistol primers in quite a while. I had a few, but I was trying to hold on to what I had. But I found a new source, and I was able to order some this week. So went ahead and decided to load some 9mm, but I wanted to share my new setup with y'all. I decided I wanted to update my press. Nothing was wrong with my old one. I've still got it over here under the bench. It's a Rockchucker Junior. It was made in 1967 and still going strong, but I just wanted to upgrade it a few things. And I wanted to invest in a powder thrower. I had one a few years ago. I did a video about it. It was a cheap kind of knockoff brand. I believe it was, the name of it was a Kronos, but Kronos. But it was actually made by Smart Reloader out of Italy, which is a company that sells reloading supplies in Italy and knocks off a bunch of stuff. And it was basically, they knock off a lot of Lee stuff. They just use yellow instead of red plastic. And I was not impressed with that thrower. I used it a little bit, but it was very powder dependent. Some powders it would work okay with. Others, it was all over the place. So I never was a big fan of them, and I usually use dippers, but I wanted to get a powder thrower along with my new scale, and I decided to buy a kit. And I'm usually not a big fan of kits. I usually don't recommend them to people for a couple of reasons. A lot of the kits I've seen include a lot of stuff that you're probably not going to use, and people are probably going to upgrade fairly quickly. For example, they have a beam scale. Most people are going to want to use a digital scale, things like that. Plus, I kind of find they're overpriced. When I first started reloading, I didn't have a lot of money, so I bought a used press and just bought parts here and there and built up my reloading supplies and my setup. And that was the most cost-effective way to do it. But I found if you look at the cost of most of the kits, then if you price the stuff individually, you can usually save a few bucks. And especially if you buy anything used, like a press. As I said, my press is 56 years old and works great. But I just wanted some new features and upgrade a little bit. So I decided to go with the Lee 50th anniversary kit. The reason I went with the kit is I got this used. It was kind of, I'd call it new old stock. Somebody bought it and never used it. Everything was still in the box. It never had been opened, but nothing had been removed from the box. Everything was in the original packaging and stuff. And I got it for about half the price that the kit normally sells for. So I really couldn't pass it up. And it included the Lee Challenger single stage press, which so far I've been very happy with. And I'm going to show you a little bit closer later. It also includes a safety prime, which I'm going to show you a little bit closer detail. So far, really like this. They give a little thing of lube, powder funnel, the Lee safety scale, which actually I already have a Lee safety scale. That's my main scale that I use, but certainly don't have a problem with having a new one. And it includes a chamfer tool, a primer pocket cleaner, and a Lee cutter with the lock stud. A value quick trim, which I have a quick trim. I've done a video or two on these, but I already have one, but certainly doesn't hurt to have another one. There's a breech lock bushing that comes with it, and also the little lock ring wrench that Lee has for fitting their dies. This is their little lock ring wrench for locking onto their dies, and that's included. Been pretty impressed with this so far. Nice little setup. I set up the powder thrower. The old one that I had, the knockoff, it would leak some powders pretty bad, and I just didn't trust it. And specifically, I'm using Tight Group right now. Tight Group usually has a pretty narrow range from minimum to maximum. This so far has been okay. I was kind of nervous about using it with Tight Group because I can tell you my old cheap knockoff powder thrower, I could put in 5.5 grains work with it, and I could get anywhere from 4.5 to 6.5. Obviously, that would be very dangerous with tight group. This so far has been pretty much dead on. I'm going to show you. These are some little powder dippers, and I actually made these with my 3D printer. That's been a new toy I've been playing with a lot, and I'm planning on making a lot of other reloading tools. I've got a few other things I've made with it. This is not really a review about it, but I just had those laying on the bench, and I wanted to share them with you. And I am going to show you some other things in the future that I made with my 3D printer. This is a die box that I made. I had a set of dies I didn't have a box with, and I made this. So you got the spots for your 4 dies, and then a nice fitting lid. And I printed this lid with a different color because I'm going to make a few more. That way I can instantly identify my dies. So the 3D printer so far, I've really enjoyed having it for reloading stuff. I definitely will show you some more stuff in the future that I've made with it. But let me show you a few things here a little bit closer with the Lee 50th anniversary kit. I'm not 100% sure about this. There's a lot of paperwork that comes that shows you how to use the prime, the safety prime, and the perfect powder measure, and some advertising things. There's a little Hodgdon load data manual that comes with it. And mine had this in it. Reloading guide for pistols, 9mm and 45 ACP. These gun guides, I've had a few of these. I really like these. I don't know if this is normally included with the kit or not, because where my kit had been previously owned and they just hadn't really used it, I don't know if that was something that originally came in the kit or something that the people that I got the kit from had and threw in the box. You may get something like that, you may not. I did get that. Why don't we come in first, take a look at the press. I'm doing some priming on it, and I wanted to show you this safety prime. So this is the safety prime. It's a plastic piece that screws onto the top of your die, and then it comes with these 2 arms, and they just sit down inside here, and you can pull them off and put them on. There's one for large primers, one for small primers. I've got the small one in there now. This is the large one, and the way you use this, there's a little slide lock here. You open it, and you dump your tray of primers in here, and then it's got the ridges on here where you can shake it and get all the primers to flip the right way. And then once that happens, you close this and lock it, then raise it up and give it a little tap, and the primers will flow down inside here and will rest right down here. And then you push this forward to push the primer out into the priming arm. The priming arm on this press is right down here. Comes with 2 of them, a large and a small. And it sits right inside this slot, like this. And you can see it swings out when the press is raised. Then when you lower the press, it swings back in, and it comes up through here. The depriming, the primers drop out on this side, come down this little tube and collect in here. I've been using my Lee app press for depriming, but I use this just a little bit, and it seems to work pretty good. To prime on this, you just raise the ram just a little bit and place in your shell, your case. Raise the case up, and you'll see this priming arm go in. Come out. And then you push in the Lee safety prime and just push like that. And it drops a primer right in there. And then you lower the ram and you seat your primer. That's a lot better system than what I'm used to using. I've seen some stuff online where people complain about these, and they're finicky and they're hard to get set up, and you'll end up at the beginning, you'll have more primers on the floor than you'll have anywhere else. I've not dropped a single primer. I've not had one go in upside down. I've not had any issue at all. It took literally 5 minutes to set this up, and it's worked out great for me. So maybe it's a little about technique, and maybe I've just got lucky and used the right technique. But as far as priming, I do like this system so far. This is the first time I've ever used it. Maybe I'll have troubles in the future, but for right now, it is slick as can be. and I've had zero problems out of it. That's the priming system, the Lee Safety Prime. As I said, so far, so good. I'm very happy with it. And overall, I'm pretty happy with this Lee press. It seems like pretty good quality. I will say on some of the online forums and stuff, I've seen a lot of negative stuff about Lee presses breaking. I've seen pictures of Lee presses that are broken. I will say when I've seen those, they're usually the real low end, like entry level press. I don't think I've ever seen one of these Challengers broken. It is to be a cast aluminum press instead of cast iron. So it is a little bit more lightweight made. So I guess if you were trying to crank out some big rifle rounds or something on it, that you could possibly break it, but I can't see that happening with anything I do with it. And it works very smooth if you get the right shell holder in there. And I've been pretty happy with it. Seems like a really nice press, and I like this Safety Prime system. Definitely going to be using this from now on. So that's it. I'll bring you over and show you some other stuff. So this is a Lee Perfect Powder Measure. I've just got it bolted to my bench here with 2 screws. You work this arm. The way this works is this is a volumetric thrower. So it goes by volume, not by weight. And the volume is controlled by this silver tube here. There's a little plastic plunger that you screw in or out. And what you're changing is that internal volume. So when you lift this and that tube goes down, the powder's gravity fed into it. And then when you raise it back up, then it dumps the powder out of that tube and dumps down. So it's just taking the same, in theory, the same volume every single time. And this container unscrews. You can pull this straight off. If you twist it, you close this. So if you want to take it off so the powder doesn't flow out, you twist it and then just pull it off. You can dump it out, change powder pretty easy. This little plastic piece right here, it's a little like inverted funnel. So it makes it easy no matter what size case you're using to stick it up in there and have all the powder drop into it. And I've got this set right now for 3.9 grains of tight group. That's what I'm loading in these 9mm. I'm going to set this under here and raise this, and then lower it back down. And I've got powder in there now. And I'm just going to dump it on my scale and see how close it's running. And as you can see my scale here lining up, it's dead on. And everyone I've thrown so far has been dead on. So been very, very impressed with this powder thrower. It's certainly going to speed up my reloading a bit versus using the dippers. But I'm going to use it all for a while. So far with the kit, I think I'll use just about everything except maybe the Lee Lube. I've never used it. I've always used Unique case lube. Afraid to get away from it because I've had such good luck with it. But I might give this a shot just to see how it does. But everything else in there will be used. I have a lot of this stuff. I already had the scale. I already had the funnel. You can never have too much of that stuff. So far I'm pretty impressed with this this kit, this 50th anniversary kit. So if you're thinking about getting into reloading and you're thinking about a kit, I will say this kit is pretty good. Pretty much with the exception of whatever dies you need for whatever caliber you're going to load, this kit pretty much includes everything you need to get started loading. As I said, later on you might want to upgrade. You might want a digital scale. You might want a more high-end powder thrower, something like that. You may not like the quick trim. You might want some sort of power trimmer. The tools that the deburring tool and the pocket cleaner tool, I haven't even opened and used those yet, or the lock stud cutter, because I've got other tools for doing that stuff. But I will try those, but I'm sure they'll certainly work. So if you're interested in getting started in reloading, you're kind of weighing back and forth the kits, this Lee 50th anniversary kit seems to be a pretty good value. At least, I don't know, it depends on what you're paying for it. The stuff that's in there is pretty good quality, and it should do the job for you. I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. This has been Redneck Reloader. I appreciate you all always, and God bless.